The sixth and final stage of Gibbs' reflective cycle is the action planning stage. And we see the action planning stage in the cycle between the conclusion of a previous experience and as part of leading to a new experience which needs to be described. And the action plan is where we consider the experience that we've had and how we need to deal with it. What would we do in order to change it, to improve it? And so the action plan is the point where the reflective practitioner collects together and sums up everything they need to know about the experience in order to make improvements. And it's at this point, perhaps, that the reflective practitioner is thinking about the experience from many different perspectives. Improvement could be about attending a course or some workshop to learn more about our role as teachers, or it could be about reflecting with other teachers in the work environment, or it could be about reading around the subject. It could include a range of different actions in order to lead to change. And so here's an example of a process of action planning thinking where we can see not only the idea about change action, but an idea of very specific approaches to that change. And what it demonstrates is that a reflective practitioner needs to consider a number of options not only for activity, but also for support in relation to the activity. Because it's important to remember, in order to be successful as reflective practitioners, we don't really want to work in isolation. We want to work in a way which supports our work, but also supports the work of others. And so, in this example, we can see highlighted here that the reflective practitioner is considering what things they might do in the future in relation to their working role. And the reflective practitioner has picked up on a key aspect of building relationships with colleagues. And in this way, the reflective practitioner, by building relationships with colleagues, can learn more about how to manage students' behavior. The idea here is that the teachers that the reflective practitioner is engaging with has dealt with behavior of students themselves and therefore have acquired knowledge that they can share usefully with the individual. And what the reflective practitioner has done here has already identified actions which have been undertaken which can support this process of building relationships. In the next stage, the reflective practitioner is also thinking about working with colleagues, speaking to colleagues about their own reactions to managing behavior. And so this is a way for the individual to realize that perhaps their response is no different to anybody else's. And in relation to the discussions that they've had with colleagues, has decided to undertake some training and is going to attend a workshop on behavior management in school. And so through building up the relationships with the teachers and having the conversations with the teachers about their feelings around behavior management and how this affects them in terms of stress and the pressure of work, the reflective practitioner is building up a very rich action plan that they can put into practice. And what the reflective practitioner is doing is looking at not only their role, but also their role in relation to others, and considering the actions that they can take, not only from their own perspective, but in relation to others as well, and using this whole process as a very rich engagement with reflection in order to lead to change actions. And so what the reflective practitioner is doing is working in a collegiate way in terms of their action. And what this recognizes in this staged model of reflection is that action is not individual as such. Action involves colleagues and others in the working environment. And action is therefore both an individual and a supported process for the reflective practitioner. And by doing this, what the reflective practitioner is engaging with is a process which supports change and improvement. And so the reflective practitioner can start to move forward not only in their thinking, but also in their ability to facilitate improvements in their teaching. And in terms of training, the individual is focusing on certain aspects which, in relation to the details that they've identified in the evaluation and the analysis. So rather than just attending general training, any workshops or training are considered in relation to very specific aspects of their experience. And so action plans are a way for the individual reflective practitioner to sum up their thinking about change actions, but also to identify how they can be supported in those change actions and how they can maintain motivation in relation to that change.